Just a few weeks ago, I put out a post on Instagram and on Twitter. And I said something on the lines of this, that obeying the Lord sometimes is done with crying. Sometimes obeying the Lord is one of the most difficult things that we can do, but it is okay to obey the Lord and cry. It is okay to obey the Lord and cry, because sometimes we think obeying Jesus, obeying God, is something joyful. It's something amazing. It's something we get to do. It's a privilege. Yes, it is amazing, but very often obeying God comes with crying. Just think about it. You see, so many times the Lord has required of people to walk away from their sin, to walk away from things that are destroying them. And you think that they enjoy doing that? It is really hard to walk away from things that we enjoy, but even those things that are slowly destroying us. You think that Mary enjoyed and didn't cry when she found out that she was not married and pregnant and she would be an outcast? You think Joseph didn't get an anxiety attack thinking that he had to obey the Lord in this? It was really difficult. It was a difficult life, difficult decisions that they had to make, but they did it crying. Now, a question in your life: what are you serving the Lord crying? Are you afraid to obey the Lord? Is there something in your life that you are still holding on to because you're afraid to cry? You know, when you were a child and mom asked you to do errands and you didn't want to do them, you did them anyway. You did them sometimes crying. You don't want to speak to mom. You're angry at mom and you're still washing the dishes when she's asking you to do it, but you're doing it crying. But you do it because it is mom and mom asked you to do it. Now, the Lord knows best. He knows more than you know, but he wants you to obey him. And sometimes to obey is to tear you seemingly to pieces. But the Lord will give you more joy, more peace, more hope than you can imagine. The difficulty is not in dying to self. It's not in the obedience, but in resisting to die to self. Always think about skydiving. There's a resistance when you're holding onto the plane and saying, God, I don't want to jump. I don't want to obey. But once you do, it's exhilarating. There's a freedom like never before. The Lord wants you to obey, to get rid of those things in your life that are holding you down. Those sins, those addictions, those relationships. And some of you are finding it really hard to let go, but the Lord is telling you to trust him. Emmanuel, God with us. God is going to give you the strength. It is okay to cry while you're obeying the Lord. Obey, and he will outdo you with blessing. He will outdo you with anything that you give him. He will outdo you with generosity.